Hello and welcome to a Truck Talk Videos special. You can hear the rain outside and the thunder, because it is a pretty nasty day up here in the north. Now I'm doing this video for CJ Campbell, exclusively for CJ Campbell, because he wrote on a message to me that he'd like to see videos of the Lee Enfield, a few other dinky models, and of course this extremely special item here. Now this is the Bedford gep.M.Trsp.Wg.Bedford E, or what me and Kelvin call it, the Armoured Bedford. It's just easier. Now, facts and figures. Well, as you can see, I have the book. These are the only pictures that are known to exist, but then I've found a few more. This here, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but this is a quick, it's a drawing I did last June. A quick sort of reference that when I show people and when I am out, to show them that this was indeed a real machine, equipped with anti-aircraft guns as well. They also used anti-tank weapons on these as well, and of course they were personnel carriers. Now, even though it doesn't all fit on the A4 piece, that's how they did it. Welded, I'm guessing. I don't know how they got them into place in you know, working out in the field, but they did somehow. Now that one, as you can see, is that one. Now the colours, the camouflage here, there was white, purple and orange. I looked it up, they're the little dots, and all around it was the iconic Russian camouflage. It is a bit like that, like a sand colour, but not as deep as the Africa Corps had it. Not as deep. Some of the pictures are very, very bad. You can't really see them that well, but that's what I carry around with me anyway, and that's like that because it is in a homemade box, which we call the coffin, or the dog coffin, as you can see. It does have a homemade lid, and then this here is basically the Prosegur, which Kelvin has also made me, but that's more in another video. Now, this model, I will read this bit in a minute. But this model is made of cardboard and recycled materials. More than likely you've never heard of cardboard sounding like that before. It's resin, as far as I know. And you'll see here that the butt of the gun snapped off. And the butt of the gun snapped off because I was transporting it to show people that often last year. It couldn't take the strain anymore. Well, under there, when that is off, there's a very, very, very thin piece of how do I describe it, like very strong white cardboard, and that sits in between, obviously to make it look a lot more stiffer. Now whether that's in the whole of this model, I don't know, but I know that Kelvin starts off on literally a sheet of cardboard, like a grey sheet of cardboard. He draws the whole thing, and then he makes it. I mean, even the wheels, look, the wheels go round, that's all cardboard. Amazing. The axles, they're cardboard as well. Spade is cardboard, I know, amazing. Now, the markings, as far as I know, they're made It gave me a few flags as well. So everything you can see here is made out of cardboard, obviously, except the registration. Jerry cans are. And they are supposed to be the door hinges, because the door only went down to about that much. Don't know why. And then on the inside, I'll use the torch here. Now, the floor looks like what you get gingerbreads, you know, the gingerbread wrappers in. Running along there is obviously the gear stick, and on the left is the wireless. Not sure what made the steering wheel out of it, could be cardboard, it looks very familiar. Now as you can see here, where the seats are, on say an STKFZ251, or even a 250, the seats will go further back, so they go right to the back. Now, I'm not sure why he did that, where the seats didn't go directly to the back, but the good thing is it looks like it's storage, even though more than likely the only storage they had was on the floor or right near them with either their MP40s or K98 rifles. I'll just zoom in here. Looking at all that at the front, it isn't exactly accurate because there's sort of an engine hump where the gear stick is, and obviously the dials aren't exactly Bedford. Now that coily thing that looks a bit like a spring, from there, what would be mounted there would be an aerial, and then it would also fold back all towards the rear. I know the aft tracks are 2 doors, but there is a picture that I've got where there is only 1 door. So technically, you know, that is realistic. This gun here, usually on the models, the half tracks, you'd be able to turn that face back. You can hear the rain, can't you? Here, you can hear the rain, and then face it backwards. But because the shelf that I've got is only so wide, I can't do that, so it has to face forward, unfortunately. So that's the interior for you, but before I start talking about the interior, the seats, at the back of the seats there, are like the foamy stuff, the like green sponges you get from the supermarket, just painted. Amazing. Not sure what that is there. Near the steering wheel. I keep thinking that's something to put a gun in, but it's too small for a Luger. I should say it's too big for a Luger and too small for a K98, and plus, more than likely it wouldn't even fit because of the slope. Now, looking at this body, it's an armoured body off one of the half tracks. That's what it looks like to me personally. He's even done the headlight covers there. I hope you can hear me over all this rain. Registration. Now the registration is obviously Wehrmacht here. So the army, but they were also known to be in service with the tote organisations. Somebody told me that was sort of Albert Schweer's crew, you know, the construction people. Why it would be in service with them as a scout or a personnel carrier, or I have no idea. And then that is an old screw. It's an old car screw off an old car number plate. It's yellow under there. It's yellow. Now here, on most of the pictures I've seen, there wasn't an MG42 there. That was actually an anti-tank gun. But the reason why there is no AT gun is for 2 reasons. Kelvin said it would just be a lot easier to make the MG42 machine gun, and of course I said just make a machine gun, because it wouldn't look, in a way, it wouldn't look better and look more with what the model is about. There is no figures. That I've found to put in something like this. Hopefully one day I will. Still not really sure how many troops that would fit. I would imagine, what, about 8, something like that. And I know, obviously, people who do World War II will notice that the wireless should be in front of the wireless operator / commander. For some reason it isn't, and I have absolutely no idea. That's exactly how it came. I got this on the 12th of December 2015. It was the first one I got from Kelvin. I currently have 2, and there is a Tucker 700 Snowcat coming next week for my birthday, which was a few weeks ago. And for Christmas he's doing me a Mexican narco tank, which is basically what the cartels transport drugs in. And it's actually on the chassis of a Mack tractor unit, literally an oblong shape, all black, covered in armour, and the Mexican authorities captured 2 in 2011. Just wrote on the bottom there what it is for good friends to see. But I think it is amazing how he's done the armour and it's sloped. Just amazing. Right, now they captured these at Dunkirk because these vehicles were in Italy in 1944, presumably a field conversion of the OYD, MWD and OX. Now the OX, these are from lots of diecast, of course, and they are between a Bedford MWD, which is this, and a Bedford OYD, which is that. So you can tell similarities. They got all the same front end, except the MWD is all the same cab, and I imagine the same dials and gearbox. 1936, 1939 and 1939. So what you're actually looking at here is a very, very early OX, because these presumably were captured at Dunkirk. Like thousands and thousands of vehicles, mostly trucks, of the British Army. And more than likely, these were captured there, and then somebody came up with the idea in 1944 to do a field conversion. Who and why, I have no idea. Even this here, he doesn't say anything about that. Or it could have been captured in North Africa. Not so sure. More than likely at Dunkirk. Why I'm positive about that, I don't know. Probably because you just have to look at the name of this book. There's the rumbles of thunder. Oh, that's a quick sketch for a scene on the model railway. That you can see the table is yet to be complete. Now let me talk you through the camouflage before I read this section here. As I said, the camouflage is white, purple and orange. They were little dots, presumably camouflage from mid to late 1944, with like brown, like sand colour, as I said, not as dark as the ones that were used in Africa, but was used in Russia. Now the reason is, I haven't, or should I say why I haven't actually got that colour on, is for a few reasons. One, look at this. To me, that looks a little like that colour, or that could be green. And two, because I have a tiger up on one of my military shelves, and this, which is a Hobby Master. If I can get the roof back on, it is anyway. Field personnel vehicle anyway. And look at that camouflage. To me, that looks like the 1944 camouflage from Western Europe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, it is. And in November 2015, I took a few photos of this, the Tiger and the Panzer, which have all the same camouflage, and said to Kelvin, this is my favourite camouflage of the war, so can you do that? And as you can see, he's done an absolutely excellent job. Just amazing. He said that's the best bit about the whole thing, is painting them. So yeah, I definitely take my hat off to him there. So that's the camouflage done. Now you know what it's made out of. I know there'll be some people who will want their own. Now I will get to that. Kelvin will make you any vehicle, any train, but he has said he won't make planes because he made one for a friend. It was a Sopwith Camel and it was very boring. I've often asked him for a Hanley Page HP 42, but he said it's a big undertaking for him. So he does these in two sizes. One is this scale, which is either a 1/18th or 1/24th scale. These are the small scale, because if he didn't do me these ones, there'd be no way they'd fit on my shelves. Or he does the 1/6 scales, and if you get a 1/6 scale, he can put a motor in it, possibly not radio controlled, but it will move forward, backwards, maybe even turn. And he will also fit working lights, because one of his first ones, as he did back in December 1996, was a Forden, I believe, could have been a DG, and that had working lights front and back. He covered the on and off switch with two crates that he'd made that sit on top of the body. Now, if he made one of these in a 1/6 scale, could he make it motorised, and could he make the lights work? That's something you would have to ask him. Now, there's two ways you can get in contact with Kelvin. One is you can send him a message on YouTube Messenger, or the best way, I think, the best way is to set up a Flickr account, which literally only takes a few minutes, and then Flickr mail him, because if you Flickr mail him that way, he usually gets back to you within a few days, which is, to me, the easiest way, and that's how you can ask him a few things about these special cardboard models. Now, before I forget, this is an Opel Blitz, and I know what you're thinking, this video is to do with the Armoured Bedford. That's true. Now, this is Flames of War. The people who make the very, very, very small trucks, tanks, artillery tractors for the war games. Now, this I picked up in 2011, and I do know that Flames of War do have an Armoured Bedford. Exactly the same as that, exactly the same. Unpainted, but with two MG34s, but in that scale. Now let's compare that scale to Kelvin's scale. Personally, to me, there's absolutely no contest. That one will win every time for me. But what I'm saying is, that is cheap. That is about €25. Now, for something that small, personally, I wouldn't be willing to pay that. Now, this on the other hand, this was usually to someone this would be about £80 with postage and packing, and depending on where you live, because Kelvin has built yachts and trains for people in Canada and America and Northern Europe. And the thing is, he doesn't have a website. As I say, contact him over Flickr. Depends where you live, is depending on the price. Now, I live in the north-west of England, and because this was a Christmas present, this was free. But ordinary. So sort of when Kelvin actually said the prices for both of them to me, I was flabbergasted. He said this is how much it would have cost you up to now. So literally looking at them prices, on hearing about them prices, this would cost you about £80. Now, I know most people would say, oh, I can make me own, or it's not worth it. Well, trust me, it's a one-off. Nobody in the entire world but me has got this model. And you, whoever you are, could have another one. The exact same camouflage, the original camouflage, or even a completely different camouflage. Now, looking at the pictures I've seen, most of them were destroyed during the war, either by the crews or bitter fighting. I've done as much research as I could. I spent 3 weeks gathering all the pictures in 2015, November 2015, and there is no proof that any of them survive. Now, I have 2 friends called K and R Wong. You've probably heard of them, of Ashton_, and the rustier the better, they say. And they have Hotchkiss, Jensen trucks, even a Volvo N86 tow truck. And everything are rare. They're the only ones in the UK. And I know Kenny extremely well, and when I'm older, this is what I want. A real version of this. I'm not saying it has to be armoured properly, because that takes up a lot more fuel. But something that looks like this that I can take to, say, I don't know, the War and Peace Show or the Yorkshire Wartime Experience. So, hopefully, one day, well, at least when I'm in my mid-30s or mid-40s, I will own a one-off real one. And that is one of my dreams. And there's only one page of this, by the way, in the entire book, as you can see. Because I found more pictures than what this author has found, but working off this book, that's how I found the pictures. And because of this book, that's what got me inspired to contact Kelvin to build it. And as I say, he's building me a Tucker 700 snowcat that went to the Antarctica in 1956-57. There's only 3 of them survived. One is in Christchurch, New Zealand. One is at Tucker's HQ in America. And one is down south in the UK, at Swanage. Pretty surprising, but only one runs, though, the one in America. And the other one, unfortunately, was lost with its New Zealand driver in a crevasse in the late 50s. Should I attempt to read this? Well, I'll try my best, because my throat isn't the best. I am a bit run down this week, so the driving lesson might have to be cancelled tomorrow. But anyway, without further ado, I'll try my best. And I do have a lot of phlegm, by the way, that's why you'll hear that. It's horrible, I know, but if I am to keep speaking, I guess you'll have to grin and bear it. So, hopefully this video won't run out. Certainly the most mysterious German conversions of the Bedford MW, OX and OY family is, how do you say that? The GE Panzer Bedford. Armoured Bedford is also unofficially known as the GE Panzer. This will be fun, won't it? Man in Schieffahrtstransportwagen, Bedford E. Barely anything is known about this conversion. Forward part in from from the existence of at least a handful vehicles, or a handful of vehicles, and that should say. Unconfirmed rumours say several Bedford MWDs or OXs were converted late in the war, presumably in Italy, by fitting a German improvised armoured body to the British chassis and arming them with a variety of weapons. On no forces in the Bedford chassis can truly be confirmed. In only British type tyres are visible in vehicles converted in such a manner, or with other similar armoured bodies on other chassis, show up on very rare occasions. On several fronts in 1944 and 1945. And I've got about 3 minutes of video left here, and this is a fully empty card, but I will whiz quickly through this book. Why have I got Max there? And I'll show you why I've got Max there. It's an AC Dorchester. That's from Oxford Diecast, by the way. If I can show it to you before this video runs out, I certainly will. There we are. Kelvin hasn't made one of them yet, but you never know, it might be his next project for somebody. It is such a good book that I've got 4 books by Tankograd, which are about British military trucks, be that of World War I, the Second World War, and the Cold War. Whether they do any more, say, I don't know, from say the late 80s, obviously to 2016 or something like that. I don't know, because they've covered British Army MAN HX 2000s in a smaller book. You can also get another book which is a similar name to this from 2006, but a very, very, very thin volume. Obviously not as many pages as this, very thin, and it's a paperback. So that's the book that I really set out with because I wanted to know, more about the British trucks that were captured. And there is another book called German Truck. No, not German Trucks in Wehrmacht Service. That'd be a bit weird. How can I forget? It's the second best book I've got. That's it. Trucks of the Wehrmacht, published in 1994. That was the first book I got to do with this subject in 2011. And as I say, I will be doing more reviews and more about these books in the near future. And just so this video won't run out, I'll skip it. There's a new film called Dunkirk out this Friday, 2 days. Will they include this? Because without these trucks here on the beaches, truck piers of Dunkirk, I find that absolutely amazing. I mean, it's so sad that there was that many vehicles that was captured and destroyed. I really do. What a waste, you know. But the German recovery crews did have trouble recovering them from a position like that, which in a way is a good thing. So, literally, that is it for this video, which is half an hour long, which I'm pretty surprised. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to do an update on this armoured Bedford when I get the new software, as I've said time and time again. But I am. And the Prosegur model that Kelvin's made me, and the Tucker 700 Snowcats, when I get that next week. So all that I can say is there'll be more model reviews, because I've got a whole room of models, some very, very rare ones as well. So everybody happy model collecting, like and subscribe, and Truck Talk videos out.